you all for coming to our webinar on Calendar Plus, better calendaring for SharePoint Online in the modern experience. We're going to break this into a couple little parts. We shouldn't take any more than 30 minutes, if that. The first part, we're going to go through a little webinar about the company, the product, what its features are. Then we're going to take a quick tour of the website so you can see where you can access a 30-day free trial, and also how the pricing works. And then we're going to see the product in action in SharePoint. So thank you all for coming. So let's take I am recording, so we will share the recording with everybody who registered at the end. And then if you want a one-on-one demo or help with your installation, we're also there to help as well. All right, so Bamboo, we are a provider of software applications and consulting services for SharePoint and Microsoft 365. Over 8,000 customers have downloaded our product off AppSource or our website over the years, and they range from very large companies to super small companies. Our pricing is flexible enough that we like to make our software available to everybody who wants it or needs it. Our experience makes us great in building these products. Bamboo has been building products since 2007 for SharePoint, both on-prem. And then in 2016, we started our SharePoint Online journey, and now have over 25 products for SharePoint Online. And I would say 90% of what we sell and support today is SharePoint Online, but we still have, gosh, 600 or 700 customers on-prem who are enjoying our products in SharePoint 2022 subscription edition, 19 and 16 we're still supporting. So for SharePoint Online, it's important to note that these are SPFX solutions. That's the SharePoint framework. They are not add-ins. They are not disappearing from support, as we see that message in SharePoint all the time. These are the way that Microsoft wants third parties to extend the capabilities of SharePoint. So it is built on the SharePoint framework. They are available both on our website as well as the Microsoft App Store. I think we've got 15 of our 25 products there at this point. The products are sold as a subscription with support services, upgrades, training, installation, and everything you need to get going. The sort of security architecture is that you add these to your app catalog in your tenant. You add them to a page, you configure them, and then customers access them. They are not a SaaS service. They're not running anywhere in our environment. And are completely within the security infrastructure of your tenant. So the subscription pricing is a single price for your entire tenant, right? So you can add the calendar product to as many different pages as you want. You can actually create your own bundles if you're looking to buy more than one product, and you'll see that in the subscription pricing. The costs include support, training, installation help, new product upgrades, and unlimited tickets for anything that you may want to ask us. We do offer monthly or yearly payments. You can manage your subscription in a portal, and all sorts of good things. But one of the nice things about subscriptions is, let's say you buy Calendar Plus and you use it for a year, and for whatever reasons your business needs to change and you'd rather change that over to Alert Plus because your SharePoint alerts are retiring, and we've got a great product to replace that. On renewal, you can actually exchange products. So if you got a nice 5-product bundle, you can exchange 2 out of the 5. If you got 1, you can exchange the 1 out. So on your renewal, you can actually change your product for new products as your needs change. Of course, we hope you upgrade and add a second versus exchanging the one you have. But we're here for you. We also have some really great small business and not-for-profit pricing. So if you're a small business with 100 employees or less, or a not-for-profit with 300 employees or less, you are eligible for the small business subscription pricing, which we'll see on our website. All right. Let's continue. The other thing you get with our products is a free product called Bamboo Tenant Manager. And this is a product that you install that manages the license for your Calendar Plus product. but it also has reporting on usage. So within your tenant, you can go to this product, open it up, and you'll see all sorts of great reports about where the product is installed by URL, how many times it's being accessed by users, what are your most popular products, products that may be expiring in terms of your license if it needs a subscription renewal, and the like. So a nice central location for you to see what's going on within your tenant, because sometimes if it's a large tenant or even a medium-sized tenant, this product can be installed on 300 to 3,000 sites. So this is a great way to help you justify the ROI. And this is a free product that comes with our products, and it manages all the products. So you can see here in this case, this customer's got Alerts Plus, Knowledge Base, List Rollup, and Simple Search. So that's where the licensing is, and then you can see here what are the most viewed products, what are the total products. I can actually give you a quick demo of this as well during this. So that's also included with your subscription. But let's take a look at Calendar Plus. So the main features of Calendar Plus are, its purpose is to bring calendar events together from lists within your tenant and exchange calendars into SharePoint. You can then color code those events and calendars by assigning colors to both categories and the calendars. We've got a global search in the calendar that allows you to search across all of these calendars you brought together. We offer a couple different views, a calendar view, a Gantt view, a list view. We also support week numbering if that's important to you. And of course, the licensing lets you add it to any page. We've added a bunch of new month views and multi-month views that we'll see in the demo today. We've also improved a lot of the way the multi-months are displayed. So if you're looking at a full year view, you can kind of make sense of it. We've added some export features to PDF. So if you've got a month view you want to export to a PDF and mail around or keep, you can do that. We've improved our tooltip performance so that you can hover over an event and see all of the details of that event without having to click on it. We'll see the legend, which is a filterable legend of your calendars and categories, and we've allowed you to now reorder that into priority during the setup. And of course, we've got our Exchange support as well, which allows you to bring in conference room calendars or even personal calendars into the SharePoint portal. So what makes it better than out of the box? Well, there's lots of things. You can see the overlay calendar on the left here, which is what you can do out of the box by bringing in lists. Now, these calendars all have to come from the same site collection. Our calendars can be brought in from anywhere as well as Exchange. There are permission issues with the out-of-the-box calendar overlays. Like if I don't have access to Project One, I won't see any of the calendars. In ours, if you don't have access to one of the calendars, you just don't see that calendar, but you'll see all the other ones. There's color coding is much more limited. There's no filterable legends down to the category level, and all sorts of different things. Oh, and another neat thing that we do that you'll see is you can filter the data down into Calendar Plus. So if you're pointing to, let's say, a marketing calendar, but you only want the conferences information into the Calendar Plus rolled together calendar, you can filter it either by a SharePoint view or just creating a filter view on the fly, so that you're only seeing the calendar data, not all the data from that calendar. So much better experience for the users, and you'll see that as we're moving through. You can see our search here, the export, and then our legend filter over on the left. But we've got a great blog on our website that you can see what makes our calendars better. We talked about Exchange support. This is really a big deal. So yes, you can bring in as many different lists and calendars from SharePoint into it, but now you can also tunnel through the Graph API and pull in Exchange calendars. When you install the product, it will ask for permissions to talk to the Graph API. Again, that is the application asking to do that. If you don't want Exchange, you can just deny all those permissions. You can always add them later if you want. If you're only looking to read calendar data and not write, you can approve only the read APIs, but we're here to help you with all that with our support team. If during the installation you have questions about the permissions it's asking for to talk to Exchange. You don't need any Graph API permissions if you're not using any Exchange calendars, you're using just SharePoint and the like. But it is two-way, so we can write to those calendars as well as read. We preserve all the sharing permissions, so if a calendar is not shared with a logged in user, they won't see the data from Exchange, just like any list that they don't have permissions to as well. So let's go ahead and take a quick tour of the website. If you have any questions, you can just pop that into the chat or the Q&A. I'm kind of watching it to see if anything comes in and the like. Okay, our website is bamboosolutions.com. I'm sure you know that. And up here across the top is our main menu. We have all of our services that we do for consulting, building out Power Apps, Microsoft On-Call support, Power BI, portal builds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We do a lot of migration work, especially moving people into the government cloud. We've got a whole federal consulting team that we've got people placed around different federal agencies. Here's access to the support tickets, and then here's the account where you would actually have your downloads. Okay. On the product side, we've got access to some of our top sellers here, but if you click this view more, you'll get a list of all of our SharePoint Online products. So we've got some great searching products. We've got the Alerts Plus, which we're really excited about because we are replacing SharePoint Alerts, which are retiring in June of next year. So if you want to continue to provide alert features, both at the item level and the list level to your users, as well as preserve all the existing alerts you have, this is a product you're going to want to take a look at with us. There's our Tenant Manager. Calendar Plus is what we're looking at today. We've got a great carousel image slider. We've got some charting. We've got column level security. We've got Directory Plus that tunnels into Entra. Some group redirects, a knowledge base, list print, list rollup, navigators, news. We've got an org chart product that works off both lists and Entra. Tabifying, which allows you to tab together web parts and the like. So we've got a lot of great stuff here that you can take a look at. But we're going to focus on Calendar Plus today. Once you land on a product page, you're going to get access to the user guide, some feature comparisons, a video walkthrough, et cetera, et cetera. Neat things here. And then this little try buy button down here will give you instant access to a trial version for 30 days. And you can just simply add that to your cart, check out, build your account, download it, add it to your app catalog, and off you go. No credit card needed. Our release notes are also located here. So if you want to see what we've added when over the years, you can do that here as we release new versions of the product, right? When you're ready to purchase, you can either purchase a perpetual license, which most people aren't doing these days, or shop our subscription. So by clicking on the subscription, we get access to our subscription page. And the pricing, if you're a small business, is $878 per year or $85 a month. If you are bigger than a 100-person company or a 300-person not-for-profit, you would be here at Tier 1. So the product is $1,300 a year or $127 a month. If you want to buy 2 of our products, this is the price. If you're between 2,000 and 10,000 SharePoint users, that's how many people are licensed, right, in your tenant. It's $3,600. If you're between 10 and 100,000, it's this. And then if you're over 100,000 people, it's here. So the prices do increase based on how much you're going to use the product and the number of support tickets we typically get. If you've got a special circumstance, right, where you want to use it just on one site, but you're a big company, give us a call. We'd like to work with you to help you get it into your site, and then maybe we can expand its usage overall. So very flexible pricing that you can purchase right here on our subscription program. You just select what you are. If I'm a small business, one web part, you can choose build monthly or paid up front, add it to your cart, and then you can cancel that subscription at any time. It is a 1-year commitment, but it is cancelable, manageable, upgradable, downgradable, and all the great things in our subscription management program. All right, so let's take a look now. Oh, I think we've got a question. Let me take a look. So yes, we actually support recurring events, which is a real problem with the new calendar. And the way you do that, which I'll show you in here, when we get to the calendar, I'll show you how you set up recurring events so that they work. Because you can see I've got a couple here that are recurring events, and that is a big hole in the modern experience. So the first thing is I'm at a SharePoint Online page. I've added this web part to the page, and I've configured two lists. A conference room list. An oversight list and a marketing calendar list from two different site collections. And I've got a conference room calendar from Exchange that shows availability of conferencing, right? So it's an asset calendar. Over here on the left, I am on my month weekdays view, which shows the month view without Saturday and Sunday. Just makes it a little bit bigger. I could always go to my month view, my week view, an agenda view, a 3-month view, a quarter view, and a year view. These views are also customized on what you want to show and not show. You can see I can add new events right here. Of course, everything is permission controlled. I've got my month, the move through my months. I can actually move through my months with the next button, and I can go to the today. I've got my export, I've got my search, and my legend filter. Let's first take a look at the legend filter. So this filter can exist here on the right, left, or underneath, depending on how you want to lay it out. But it is filterable, so I can actually turn everything off. This one is this is a weird thing. We'll talk about that later. This is actually something in the Exchange calendar that doesn't go away, but that's an Exchange issue. We're just always showing it. It's uncategorized. But if I turn my marketing calendar back on, I can see that I see only the items from the marketing calendar. If I then want to put on my oversight calendar and turn off my marketing calendar, I can do that. And then if I just want to see my meetings, I can turn off specific categories. So that's really nice for sort of finding things in a calendar that have a lot of categories, or if you've got a lot of calendars rolled together, you can turn them on and off using your filters. So pretty straightforward. The search feature is nice. So if I was looking for something in particular, let's say I'm looking for just release dates. Whoops, I'm sorry. And it'll show me a list of things here by title, or I can do my search, and it will show me search results, again, with the pop-ups that show me all of the information about that. I can also just click on it, and it brings up the actual event here. So pretty straightforward. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Why didn't that do work? All right, so we're back to our calendar. Some other neat things is we do have multi-month views, so I can look at 3 months, and this brings in a list, and you can choose to group it by week number if you'd like, but it does show you the same color coding, the same filtering that we have here, and then items that we can hover over as well. If I add a new event, I just want to see. So the way we support recurring events is, you can see this is sort of a classic page. So this calendar is actually set on a classic page that supports repeating events, but the user never sees that page because it's rolled together into the modern page. So you get the classic feature of making this a repeating event, right? But you're viewing it in our product, which is running on a modern page. And that's how we solve the repeating event problem in there. And we'd be happy to walk through that one-on-one, but you can see that you get your great repeating events the way you want in a modern experience. Yeah, pretty clever, huh? We thought so. All right, so this is the product. I mean, pretty straightforward, nice and user-friendly. Obviously, I got a little bit of data problems, but we are pulling the data live from these two calendars. Just to show you what one of these calendars look like. Here's a list. I'm pulling from this, so I got the Miami conference, this release date. I've got a description, category. So here's the background list that Calendar Plus is bringing in for that. So let me turn those off, and we can see there's the product Y release date. There's that weird all-day event. There's the Miami conference that's happening, right, with the pop-ups, and all of that is being pulled from here. All right. So how do we set this up? pretty straightforward. You add it to your app catalog. Then once it's in your app catalog, you activate it on a site collection that you want to push this calendar to. And then once it's there, it's available just like any other web part through the plus, right? Where you can just add a new web part and there's your calendar plus right there. So once you add it, it comes here unconfigured and you get this little tooltip that brings up our flyout configurator. So we're going to walk really quickly through each of these. So you can, again, decide if you want a calendar view, a Gantt view, or a list view. Most people choose Gantt. You can choose to turn on or off this new button. So regardless of whether I have permissions, if you want this calendar just to be read-only, you can just turn off the new, which I'll do, and you'll see that it will disappear. I can also choose how big these boxes are going to be so that if I want to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items, I can just make that box bigger. And similarly, I can make the multi-month views bigger, right? So you can see if I go to the 3-month over here, I got 12. That means I'm going to see 12 events before I get the more button down this list. So it's just a way to constrain what you're viewing by building how big your boxes are. Once that's done, I go to my data sources. Now, we can have as many data sources as you want to consume into a single calendar. It could be one, which is always nice because you get a great calendar over a single calendar, or you can bring in multiple calendars or multiple calendars in exchange. So you simply tell us what the data source is. Is it a list or an exchange calendar? Let's start with a list because that is probably the easiest to understand. So here's my second data source, which is this oversight calendar. So you give it a friendly name. I click list. I give it the color, right? So I can choose whatever colors I want. You can see the font is white, so I can choose that font. I've got a bunch of different fonts to choose from, my font size. But the important thing is you tell us where this calendar exists, right? So here's the URL. I click load lists and I get my list of lists. And I've chose that oversight calendar. And then I get my columns. So out of all the columns, I say, what is my title, right, which is this? What is my start time? What is my end time column? And then all of the things I want to add into my tooltip, right? So that's what the hover over is showing, and it's configurable for each calendar by simply choosing the fields that you want to also display in the pop-up. Now you optionally can add a category or not, which is these subcategories here. So you can see I've got all of my multi-selects. Once I select one, it brings in all the unique values. And this is the first way you can filter down data. So all of these things, what I didn't want to bring into this calendar was the holidays, the get-togethers, gifts, birthdays, and anniversaries. I just want my business, work hours, and meetings, right? So I can just simply choose those. Of course, I can change the colors if I'd like. So that's one way of filtering data from this list to what I see in this calendar. The other thing is I can choose an existing list view, or I can specify a filter condition. So let's say I only want items that were created by a certain person, by Emily. Right? So anything Emily creates is what's going to flow into this calendar. Another thing we've seen people do is in the description, if it contains the word public, right? Or published or something, then it'll show up here, right? So you can really choose whatever you want, and you can add multiple filter conditions together. So it's both Emily and public or something like that. But what this allows you to do is trim down the amount of data that floats. So if you could imagine on your home page, you've got a corporate events calendar that's showing product releases and conferences and things from HR like upcoming things that are related to employees like benefits enrollment, right? You may want to filter the data that exists completely on that calendar and just bring in those items. So again, we just do that a couple times. We've got 2 here. We got our second calendar, which is the development projects. The calendar name is actually, where is that? Oh, I didn't turn that one on. Conference room A is an exchange calendar. So the exchange calendar, you simply put in the user's email that the calendar is shared with, and then it brings in all of the calendars that are shared with that person's Then again, this is just for setup purposes. You do the same thing, your title field, your start date, your end date, your tooltip, your categories, brings in custom categories as well. And no filtering conditions though on the Exchange like we do on the SharePoint lists. Then as long as this calendar is shared with a logged in user, they'll see the data, right? So again, we're doing this just for setup purposes so we can get a list of calendars that we want to configure. All right. The rest is pretty straightforward. What's the default view when a user comes here? What views do you want to display for the end users right here? Whether you want to do week numbers and the like. Where you want the legend, bottom left or right. Your legend order can be updated here by just dragging and dropping these things down, which changes the order of the legend. And then your export features. Once that's done, we click submit. We turned off the new button. We rearranged our legend, and we now have a new configured Calendar Plus that's on this one page. Now, it's nice because you can put a calendar right on your home page, but it's pointing to list data that exists on another site collection and surfacing it somewhere else. So it becomes really flexible for you to move through to surface data from many places to one using this product. So I think that's about all I wanted to show today to get through it. I've got to clean up some of this data on here, but I think, whoops, we're not doing Alerts Plus today. I think that's about it that I wanted to show. Are there any further questions? Again, we do offer 30-day free trials. All of our pricing is transparent on our website. And let me just take a look to see if anybody's asking any questions. Here we are. Nope, it looks like we got them all. So then with that, we're right at 12:30. We'll send a recording of this around. Oh, nice. Alerts Plus is going to be a good one for you, Jason. Thank you. We'll send this around, and we'll get you set up with a trial when ready. Reach out to us. My bookings link will be in the email as well, and I'd love to meet with you all. So again, thank you all for your time today, and enjoy your Wednesday.